We're live right here in the studio, Lagos Talks 91.3 FM. When you see some people that don't look like the state of the nation, then you know that you need to hang out with them a bit more. Wade, morning to you.
Morning, Kayode. And I really don't understand what you mean by they don't look like the state of the nation. What's the state of the nation? The state of the nation is...
You know the state
inflation
of the nation.
is
Yes.
high.
Yes.
Exchange rate is getting better, a bit more stabilized in the last 3 weeks, 1 month. So are we getting somewhere? Probably.
Yeah. But high inflation and increase, or should I say, forex that is hitting the roof means that people don't have as much liquidity as they used to. But when you see somebody who looks like he
Like
lives
I have
and
the liquidity
dines and and gives out,
I'm living above inflation.
I tell you, and you're looking good.
Thank you very much. It's grace. That's what it's called.
Leave grace alone. Talk about charity a little.
Great to be here, Kayode.
Great to have you.
Great to be on Everyday Money Matters with Nairametrics.
That's it. And Nigerians are eager. Of course, we have some questions out there, and we have ours. Now, we're having the MPC, right, on Monday, 26th. 26th is a Monday, right? Yes, I think so. It is. That's the 26th. The circular came out yesterday. That's the Tuesday, rather. Yeah, Tuesday.
Monday and Tuesday. Yeah.
Monday and Tuesday, okay. So what do we expect? What's your prediction? Are we expecting the interest rate to go a notch higher? 100 basic points, 200 basic points? Are we expecting a drop? Are we expecting it to remain stable? What are the likely changes?
It's off the top of my head, I've been really thinking, why are you doing another MPC meeting in just 1 month?
I thought it's meant to happen every month, or?
No, it's meant to happen every other month, once in a quarter, that kind of thing. But at least four times in a year.
Okay, yeah.
So,
okay.
Is it that because you've not done, you didn't do MPC for, like the whole of last year? It's short. It's less than a month that you put in all the policies to drive some things down. Are they going down? Do you want to now finally notch up that MPR by another 100 basis points, which is what we had been saying was going to be ideal. I guess maybe it might go up another 100 basis points because of the inflation numbers that came out. 31 points. I don't know, 31.2. So it went up about 1.9, 31.6, about 1.8% between January and February. So maybe that's what they want to do. Are they stemming the tide in terms of inflation, food inflation? Not really. Will monetary policy alone work with the economic situations in Nigeria? We've continually said at Nairametrics that monetary policy alone is not the solution. There's a lot that needs to be done. When is the fiscal side in terms of the tax policies coming out? We've been on the tax committee was the first to be inaugurated. When is the bill coming out? When are these amendments going to come in? Are they going to bring it into the Finance Act for 2024? These are questions that we need to ask those who are managing that process and see how it goes. But in my opinion, 1 month, another MPC. I was thinking it would be sometime in April. Okay. Yeah? So at least we would see what the effect of the last policy decisions were. So let's see how it goes.
All right. Now, there's this thing I've seen on social media. Maybe I should have asked you off air, but since you're already here, there's this talk of Nigeria getting a CCC plus rating. Is it true? And what does that mean?
I haven't seen that. From who?
I heard Moody's gave. I'm like, no, I haven't seen that. I know it was a BB plus, BB minus or so last year.
I really don't know.
Yeah, okay.
I can't speak to that at this moment, but I'll find out maybe next time.
Okay. So let's be careful what we consume as a people. When I saw yes, I was going to call you, but I just got busy and to find out that it was beginning to trend that Nigeria has a CCC plus. First time Moody's giving them like, okay, I haven't heard this. But anyway, so let's just be careful what we consume, so we don't hear taking some bad things or untruths. Now, let's go straight to some of the questions that have come in for you. The first one is, how can individuals differentiate between genuine investment opportunities and potential financial scams?
So let me. If they say they hire the risk, they hire the returns, but sometimes some of those returns are just too good to be true. We've seen some of the scams that have happened in terms of investment, or bring your money and then you get 20% per month in terms of interest. When you start to see those kind of things, then you have to be very careful. You also have to do your research, or go to, like I said, like we always say, go to those who are experts in this field and ask those questions. Do you know the business? What kind of business is this person doing? Is it duly registered to carry out this kind of business? They're just red flags that you can check out for in terms of who is asking you to bring in your funds for investment. So many Ponzi schemes. You also need to be careful and wary about some groups that you really don't know who manages them, in terms of whether they are experts or organizations who have this expertise. So you just don't fall prey. Sometime last year, I think it was 2 or 3 things that we wrote about in terms of Ponzi schemes, which were, those glaring red flags were there. Some of them were on WhatsApp groups, some of them were on Telegram groups, and a lot of people lost money from there. So you just need to check those red flags. Who is the company? Does it have a track record in doing that? What the interest rates in terms of returns on investment that they are telling you that you are going to get? What is the average general returns within that sector of the economy, in terms of those who are in that business, for you to be able to tell yourself that, okay, this just makes sense. So those are a few things that you need to consider.
All right. And so you don't need any expert understanding to identify, should I say, scams. You don't need any expert view or experience or professional.
Well, that's why I said that if first you go through and see who is the business, are you with me? The rates they're charging, are they people that are well known in that area? Are you with me? Who are the business leaders? Those are things that we you should start to check. Do they have a history of being subject matter experts? Are the organizations registered by SEC, for instance, and so on and so forth? But like we continue to say, when someone asks you to put monies into investment, the best thing to do is go to a subject matter expert, those that that provide those kind of services, and ask. If the reward seems too good to be true, then 8 out of 10 times, sometimes it usually turns out to be a scam.
A scam, all right. And someone is saying that listens to your partner, Hugo Dre, on Monday, and you heard him say that stocks are doing better than real estate at the moment. He wants you to shed more light on that.
So when you look at the stock market, so this year alone, I don't have it off the top of my head, but last year, at the end of last year, he gained over 45%. And that 45% came as a result of following the reforms that were started by the administration. People are looking for where to. So if, for instance, you had invested 1 million on June 1, by December 31, you'd have had 1.45 million. And that's what it is. Can you get that in real estate now? No. That's one. The time it takes also for you to invest in real estate. So there's real estate gestation usually is between 18 to 24 months because you have to develop the property, except it's real estate that is already in existence, and then you're buying into it. But of course, remember that most of the real estate investments that people are doing today are based on what's it called, new off plan real estate properties that have been developed. That's one. If you have access into one that has already been developed, the cost of even investing the funds and how much are you going to make? What are the returns? But today, the stock market this year alone, you've seen stocks grow 35-40% in just a space of 3 months, less than 3 months. So the market is, for me, at this point in time, is safer. The returns are better. You can see you can see your investments. You can monitor it much better than you have in the real estate business. And if you also go to the NGX and look at the NGX indexes, you'll find the real estate index, which you can also compare it to the average stock index, and then you'll find that real estate stock market now is.
So, but is that for short-term benefits or the long-term? Because real estate, you're sure, will always appreciate. But is it certain that the stock will always appreciate? 10 years from now, the value will be the same or more?
Well, I'm not. Remember what our mantra is this year with Nairametrics? Spend now, save later. So when you consider that, in the short term, if I put 1 million into an investment and I can get 450,000 and this is an average, because some stocks, so for instance, some stocks did 1,000 to 200%. So if I put 1 million into it, you can imagine how much I would have made at that point in time. So yes, as it is now currently, maybe in the long term, investing in real estate, appreciation of the value of the real estate. Like I said, also the gestation period. How long will it take? Is it a real estate investment that is already in place? Or is it real estate investment that is going to create a new world? If you have that extra monies, yes, or for the medium long term, it might be. But from the numbers that we see today, stock market today as it is we're not even talking about these. We're even looking at some of the big stocks that are in the market, but also, like, we'll continue to say, speak to the experts, those who know, like what we call the penny stocks. I won't give the organization free publicity, but last year when we looked at some of the stocks that were not among the majors, that did one in the aviation sector in 6 months had done almost 200%. And this was even before the
drive this
before the race into. So those are kind of things that you need to start looking at, or speak to the experts. Let them tell you the kind of portfolios that you can put your money into, whether it's the penny stocks or the.
But when we talk stocks, then it appears that, and I like to clarify this for Nigerians, it appears that stocks that yields this kind of benefits in short term are those that you're buying in volume. So if you were to buy if you had bought like 500 units of in a company, can that give you this reward or this revenue income?
It depends on what you're looking for. Do you understand? Depends on what you're looking for. Are you a long-term investor who looks at what the dividends will be, what the yields will be in the long term? Or are you someone who is a trader and trades in stocks and tries to receive value so that you can invest in so many other things outside of that? So it depends on how you're looking at it. So
but in that case, I'm talking because you're talking to the average Nigerian now. I'm looking at that person on the street who has little money, buying 500, just an idea, such that anybody going into the business and say, "Oh, I heard it, I've put this and I didn't use a lot."
We are not the experts. We're monitoring. So it's important that you speak to those who are the experts, and then they'll give you a more detailed musical. But today, from what we know, our parents bought stocks in terms of how much dividend that they were going to get at the end of the day. So if extra money is here, you put it in for either themselves or your children. And today, some of those children, you understand, have accumulated so much, either from rights issues or from bonuses and all, depending on how much you buy. But for you to deal in the capital market, you need to have that understanding. You need to understand how the market works. You should get subject matter expert advice from those who understand it and those who play in that market. And like we say, if you have the money today, why not just invest it? Whether it's a month or two, what kind of stocks can you turn over? And people are looking for additional income.
Yeah.
And sometimes.
But if you want to do a quick turnover for stock, to an average Nigerian, 50,000, 100,000, do those funds bring in much? Is it a good way, or what's the average investment once you have to get quality, kind of something you can rely on?
I would be speaking as an expert if I tell you that. and like I continue to say, I'm not an expert.
You speak as a speculator, a monitor.
So for me, let's not call it speculation. It's trading.
Okay.
It's the same way.
Okay, speak as a trader, because I know you. Let me not say I know. I believe
it's the same way
you understand how it works.
It's the same way you trade a bag of rice. Are you with me? And it's the fundamentals are basically the same. How much does it cost? When should I buy and when should I sell? And so on and so forth. So those who deal with it on a daily basis, 100,000. Is that what you have? You want to invest it somewhere? Maybe, maybe not. Speak to the experts. They will tell you. There are different kinds of funds that you can put those things into that can generate a bit more. And that's why you should get to speak to whether it's the mutual funds or the stock brokers and so on and so forth, so they can give you better advice.
All right. Now, since saying talk to the experts, at least you should be an expert in this. And we're talking emergency funds. Looking at Nigeria and the way it is, first of all, how can one manage to even create an emergency fund? That's one. Secondly, what is the role of emergency funds? What role does it play in the modern day, this current day, not modern day, in 2024 Nigeria, and how can it help an individual?
Emergency funds are good to have if you have that extra. And what does it do for you? It helps you on a rainy day when every other thing fails. Maybe your investments the funds from your investments are not coming in. So emergency funds are usually funds that you keep aside in special savings that you usually don't touch and invest them in things that would give you some yield. So if there is a gap in your funding, then emergency funds are good places that you should touch onto. But let's remember that as we're spending them, we also need to replenish them. Like you said, in today's Nigeria, how do you survive those kind of things? And people have all forms of emergency funds, like we continue to say. So for me, how long is it going to last you? So for someone who's kept funds, he's lost his job, are you trying to do business or you're doing business? You have additional sources of income, and so on. And sometimes, let me just say this, emergency funds could be your additional sources of income. Why? Because you don't spend them if you have a regular source of income. So can I touch it now if I, for instance, I have a health emergency? Yes, you can. How do you safeguard them? You invest them in investments that can continually give you simple returns. I mean, good returns at the end of the day. Sometimes you could take part of those emergency funds, like I said, like you were asking about the stock market, and create additional value from it in today's Nigeria, which is which for us at Nairametrics has probably been one of the best places for you to put your investments to in the last 6 to 8 months. And that's what you should be thinking about. So how do you ensure that these investment funds are not just sitting down? Today with treasury bills, the rates going up, that's another area you can put some of those emergency funds to give you additional income at the end of the day, so that push comes to shove, I might not necessarily have to touch it, but I could leave off the interest from those investments of those emergency funds. Well, emergency funds are, like we said, are funds that you keep aside just in case something happens and you need to do something.
All right. So emergency funds are good. They are things that you need to be able to rely on. But you made mention of certain things, including if you have extra.
What we continue to say today is spend now, save later. So if you have, like I said, like I was saying earlier, if we do have the source of income that can provide for us today, let's just use that to live today's lives, while not touching your emergency funds. But if there are particular things like you need to do and you need to go into your emergency funds, it's good for you to have them. It's important for you to spend them today, for instance, rather than say tomorrow. Because let me give an example. If you needed to buy a property, for instance, that now becomes yours, where you can say it's mine, I can live there, I'm not going to be paying rent to Mr. A or Mr. B, then it might be important today that you take out of that emergency funds and invest it in it.
Okay.
That because you don't know what the amount will be tomorrow.
Yeah, I made that mistake. I was going to spray my car December. I said January. I said, you know what? Let me just use the money for one or two things. And suddenly the dollar just shot up, and
now spraying your car is almost double.
It's almost double the price. So I need to come to you. I want to make you my emergency fund right now.
You pay the consulting.
No, not for consulting.
For me to be an emergency fund.
Yes. For it to be
Which I'm looking for is going to be an emergency fund.
Now, with the little that we have, everywhere you look, you see all these apps. Some are telling you to save. They even give you a spending plan. And that's putting pressure on a lot of bank apps, though. A lot of bank apps are not coming up with spending plans, help you guide your money and all that. And in looking at the fact that we have a lot of issues, digital issues, the cable that got damaged the other day, digital payment or banking might look good, but what are the risks associated with it? Which outweighs the other, the risk or the benefits?
For savings or using the apps?
Digital banking, transferring money, using the apps.
Banking.
Especially when it comes to payment and all that.
So for me, I'm a fan of digital banking. I don't think I hardly do spend cash these days.
Same here.
Yeah. But like even with the cash, sometimes there's cash scarcity. So let's remember that. So in everything that we do, there's there are more benefits for me. For instance, ease of moving the funds rather than having to go to banks to write a transfer instruction. You can do it on your own and so on. However, there are always risk associated with it. How secure is the app? Do they have the right kind of security systems? Applications that are protecting the consumer. That's one. Also, the cost. Competition is so high today, so everybody is trying to ensure that they are looking for the best, but the most affordable, and so on and so forth. So at the end of the day, yes, I am a digital fan. Digital apps, though they are getting more and more, I do think more people should do cashless. It's really important, and then it safeguards you from those who can rob you at gunpoint. Not that they can't rob you at gunpoint with it. They'll just put the gun on your head and tell you, okay, press
transfer
the number. But at least it's a bit it's safer in that direction. And with the cable that got spoiled, that's temporary and it can happen at any time. Servers go down. temporarily for as long as it's not taking forever. And those who provide those services are able to tell their consumers that there is a glitch, and that glitch will be rectified and give them some reasonable time of when
to work on it.
Yeah, to work on it.
Okay.
And having backups also.
So we shouldn't be bothered. We shouldn't be too concerned. Let's not be modernization averse. Let's open up and just get digital right now. Your money is safe, right? With digital banks and with digital payments or transactions, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I think
world over, people stay in Nigeria and do businesses outside Nigeria, and they get their phones and move it electronically and digitally. So it's been safe for a while.
Yeah.
But there's so much, of course, with every system. There's
room for improvement. There
are people who are always trying to, circumvent the systems. But that's why cybersecurity technology has become so huge part of today's technology world.
And that's why we should be having a talk about that sometime soon this week on cybersecurity on the station. Thank you so much, Wade.
Thank you for coming
me through. And
have a great day.
Yeah, do have a great time. And Tuesdays and Thursdays on X and Nairametrics brings you the Twitter Spaces, X Spaces. Every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Make sure you're a part of it to learn a lot more about
Monday,
personal
join
finance.
Ugudre on Classic. Follow the money. I
know Classic is a sister station, but don't market Classic on my station. I'll sue you for that. I'm competing with them.
I paid for my time. Have a good day.
All right, Wade. Take care of yourself. Have a great time.